Hello everyone, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Today's episode in our podcast, we will talk about another story. But before that, I have something to ask for you, Madge.
Go on, what is it?
Did you experience that you love someone but you are not destined to that person?
To be honest, yes. I actually experienced loving someone truly and unconditionally. But in the end, I realized that we're not meant and destined for each other.
Have you heard the story about the Nanking store?
I don't think so. Anyway, what's the story all about?
Well, I think you can relate to the story.
It's talk time!
The Nanking store is about the Chinese married couple named Linda and Peter. In this story, the boy named Tuapoy is the narrator. In their marriage, Peter's mother gave them the Nanking store as a gift. In the first few years of their marriage, they were actually happy, but something is lack. They couldn't produce any son, even a daughter. In this time, the gossip about them is started to stir up, since having no children is considered a bad luck in Chinese. Because Linda can't produce any child, her mother-in-law started to treat her bad. Peter is their last chance to keep their family name alive. Maybe because of this peer pressure, the things gossip started to go into Peter's head. One day, the news about Peter dating a Visayan girl started to spread. In this time, Linda started to live and sleep in Nanking store. Then time passed by, Peter and Visayan girl produced a son. Peter's mother is still get mad to Linda because she thinks Linda pushed Peter to have a half-breed son with the Visayan girl because Linda can't give Peter any child.
As time passed by, Peter and the Visayan girl have their second son. Everyone turns into Linda as the one who's at fault, why they can't produce any child. Linda doesn't have a face to show since everyone put blame on her. But after a year, Peter died in a car accident. In this time, Linda take over everything in the Nanking store. She give everything for that store. As the time went by, everyone noticed that Linda is pregnant, and it turns out that the father of the baby is Oliver, her driver. At this time, Linda slowly gaining her old self back. But one day, she asked Tuapoy if she wants to go with her, since she will now go to Iligan to fetch Oliver and they will immediately fly going to Cebu to meet Linda's family. And the Nanking store looks like abandoned after Linda leave. The aura of the store became pastel. Nanking store is the witness in Peter and Linda's love story. So after that, love story end. It's also the time for the Nanking store to end.
That's actually a really sad story I heard so far. They both love each other, but their culture destroyed their happily marriage life.
In that story, I understand both sides, but I feel bad for Linda because she doesn't deserve to be pulled. I mean, in reality, no one really deserves to be pulled, right? And I guess it's not her fault if she can't have a child. And she really doesn't deserve the fraud that Peter did to her. And for Peter's part, I think he was just eager to have a child and be a perfect father, so he ended up having an affair with a woman, and he even managed to get her pregnant.
I actually think Linda and Peter loves each other so much. The feelings is there, the commitment. It's just that Peter let the peer pressure get into him. And the destiny though, I mean, how come they both have a child with different partners, but they did not produce in each other for 6 years? But let me ask you guys, what do you think about the story? Do you have any opinion or insights?
I also think Peter really loves Linda. It's just that they are not really meant for each other because their destiny is not according to them. We heard that the Visayan girl got pregnant by Peter and Linda got pregnant by other man, which is her driver, named Oliver. But when they live in together, before they cannot make a babies, Therefore, I think that they are not the problem. It's just like there's a wall between them to hinder their love.
In my insight, Peter is such an irresponsible husband. How can he find another woman while your wife is suffering? And I think no, Peter did not truly love Linda. Because if he loved her, he will not find another girl his wife can fulfill. It was so disrespectful and unacceptable on Linda's part. He will accept Linda and continue their marriage without considering others' opinion, especially if it's hurting Linda's feeling. He will protect his wife, not his image. His image and opinion of his family are all he thinks. If you are married to someone, you will accept whatever she is, and you will be there by her side, despite the circumstances of your marriage.
I agree with Gail. I also don't think Peter really loved Linda. Because if he really does, he wouldn't cheat with another girl. And it seems like he's just protecting his image for their Chinese culture. As we heard from LJ and Trixie earlier, their culture was having a boy child so they can pass their surnames with the future generations. But with Linda and Peter's relationship, they can't have a child. So, I guess Peter just cheated with another girl to prove their neighborhood that he can have a child and he is not a baron. Therefore, he only cares about himself.
I understand both sides, but I really feel bad for Linda's side. She did nothing wrong. It's not her fault that she cannot bear a child, and it's also not Peter's fault that they cannot bear a child. But it's not a good reason for him to cheat with other women.
If I were Peter, I would fight for Linda until the end, because maybe they wouldn't have children for now, but if he just patiently waited for the right time, the day will come that they will have a children soon. Because in the end of the story, they both have a child but in the other person, or maybe I could say a family.
I just noticed that we have different insights and opinions about the Nanking story. Since we now know the whole story, do you have any moral values or moral lesson you acquired from this story?
I just realized that in all aspects of life, not just in terms of love, not all things are always beyond our plans and expectations. Whatever will be, will be. The future is not ours to see. We just need to keep it up in life and continue living without letting any hindrances to cut you out.
I also realized that love really does something different. And in this story, it can be said that if it is proven that we don't really hold the destiny like Peter and Linda, who have been married for a long time but the love has faded. And the end, we can really just retreasure the memory.
I realized that not everything you want to happen happens, especially in love. You always think that the person you love or the someone special in your heart is your soulmate or your forever. But in the end, everything will be broken, just like all the things in the world.
In my side, the moral value I learned in this story is that don't let the peer pressure drive you or get into you. Because once it happens, it will control you until you realize that you're not into the right destination and the path that you imagined and dreamed of before. Do what makes you happy, treasure who you love, and don't let anybody dictate and don't let their opinions matter to you.